In Fire Emblem Fates, when a character has a birthday, that character will get a temporary stat bonus in 2 stats, some weapon experience, and an item. This item is in fact not random and is actually consistent across playthroughs, and is dependent only on which route and chapter you are on. No matter which character's birthday it is, this item will be consistent, allowing for some big forges and very stupid strategies if you have sufficient time and patience to follow through. You can double up on birthdays by overlapping Corrin's birthday with another character's birthday, or even triple up by overlapping Corrin's birthday with the twins Felicia and Flora, or the twins Saizo and Kaze. This can allow you to obtain 3 birthdays at once, and thus 3 birthday items every time you change your system clock. Note that the game somehow tracks the latest year that has had a birthday, so if you get a birthday event in the year 2021, if you turn your system clock back again, you'll be unable to get birthday rewards in the year 2020 and earlier. This is tracked for each character individually. You also cannot ever get birthday items prior to the year 2015, when the game Fire Emblem Fates was first released. I actually ran into a bit of an issue with this, because my computer can only go as far as 2076 with its system clock, limiting the number of times I could use my overlapping Corrin and Azura birthday, forcing me to switch to a different character's birthday to get more items. After conducting extensive tests and cross-referencing with information that I have found scattered across the internet, I have concluded that there are 3 chapter categories for each of the 3 routes that determines which birthday items you get, for a total of 9 unique birthday items. These categories are chapters 6 through 13, chapters 14 through 18, and chapters 19 to the endgame. These chapters will refer to the next chapter that is available, or in other words, the one that shows up in the save file when you save your game. Let's take a look at the items in the Conquest route, which are probably the most relevant because it's the most challenging route and the only one that tries to limit your resources. For Conquest chapters 6 through 13, you'll get a Moonlight Tome, which is a rank D 4 Might Tome with 70 hit that heals you for 20% of your max HP when you initiate attacks with it, and this one's pretty good. For chapters 14 through 18, you'll get a Votive Candle, which is a rank D 5 Might Dagger with 70 hit that has a miracle effect, which can have its uses. For chapter 19 and on, you'll get an Odin's Grimoire, a 9 Might Tome with 65 hit, 20 crit, and bonus crit damage that cannot double. This tome notably also reduces your crit dodge by 20, making it much more likely for the opponent to get critical hits on you, which is generally undesirable. Generally, the Conquest birthday items are pretty good if you want to have high forges of them. Obtaining good tomes or daggers in the Conquest route without significant downsides is generally quite difficult. And if you were to only grind one of these, I would recommend the Moonlight as a priority option. Even when forged, the Votive Candle isn't too good as you generally don't have that many hidden weapon users in this route, and Odin's Grimoire is possibly more of a threat to you than it is to your enemies because of the minus crit dodge. And now let's take a look at the items in the Birthright route. For Birthright chapters 6 through 13, you get a Pine Branch, which is a D rank lance with 11 might, 55 hit, 10 crit, and -3 for follow-up attacks, which is basically a steel lance with less hit and a bit of crit. For chapters 14 through 18, you will get the Paper, which is a rank E scroll with 1 might and 95 hit that gives you +1 speed and +10 crit dodge. For chapters 19 and on, you will get the Monkey Spirit, a rank D scroll with 4 might and 80 hit that gives you +1 skill, +1 speed, +2 res, and -4 luck. I don't think I can recommend getting any of these items in the Birthright route just because none of them are that good, and the route is easy enough that this won't really provide you that much benefit. For the items in the Revelation route, in chapters 6 through 13, your birthday item will be the Harp Yumi, a D rank Yumi with 6 might and 65 hit that will trigger a rally resistance effect after you attack with it. For chapters 14 through 18, you get the Lantern, which is a E rank staff that can heal allies in 1 to 3 range for a fairly low amount. Hypothetically, with a very large amount of lantern staff, you can get an infinite amount of staff XP. For chapters 19 and on, you get the Sunrise Katana, which is a D rank katana with 3 might, 85 hit, plus 1 speed, minus 1 defense and resistance, and plus 20 to avoid, which is pretty nice but nothing to write home about. Grinding these birthday items in the Revolution route probably also generally isn't really worth it. You can already get a lot of very good bows and a lot of very good swords, so that you don't really need these specific ones. Additionally, the lantern, while having infinite healing is technically nice, you generally also don't really need it. In my tests, you can probably get 128 copies of a birthday weapon to make a plus 7 forge in around 2 to 3 hours if you use the Citra emulator's speed up functions, and probably faster if you don't do other Maikatsu activities like the lottery shop and the arena. You will need around 247 ores or gems to make this plus 7 forge excluding discounts, so you will need a mine for the correct ore or gem or a high level arena. Your mine is determined when you first make your character using the new game option, and is not changed when you start from Branch of Fate, making your setting for it suboptimal. So using the arena for your ores and gems is probably the most efficient way to do it if you don't have the correct mine. Note that it is difficult to take full advantage of this early on, as you will only get the Smithy to level 1 by chapter 8, level 2 by chapter 14, and level 3 by chapter 20, meaning that by chapter 8 you can only make a plus 2 forge at the maximum, by chapter 14 only a plus 4 forge, and you can only complete a plus 7 forge after chapter 20. If you're playing on emulator, you can freely abuse this to your own nefarious ends by messing with the Citra emulator system clock or your own PC system clock. However, if you are playing on a 3DS, you unfortunately cannot manipulate time-based events very easily, as changing your system clock too often can lock you out of these events temporarily, and in some cases permanently, so do this at your own risk on actual hardware. And another word of caution, if you are changing your computer system clock, try to close anything that interacts with the internet while you are time traveling, because your security certificates and logins will go bonkers when servers on the internet think you're coming in from the year 2076. This isn't that big of a deal, but logging back into everything can be inconvenient. As long as you change your system clock back to normal before opening your internet browser again, nothing bad should happen. And now we come to the final million gold question. Is this worth it? Should I try this? And my answer to that is no, of course not. You could dedicate an equivalent amount of time grinding skirmish maps or DLC for gold, XP, and weapons, and gain much more out of it. But well, doing this way is kind of funny, don't you think? And at the end of the day, isn't that all that really matters? Thanks for watching this stupid garbage, everyone. I don't do these long edited videos very often, so if you want to see more of these stupid Fire Emblem deep dives, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, and see you in the next one.